Below the Void podcast.
Okay, someone's got to eat that fucking sandwich.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Okay, Mr. B, you can eat it.
No, I don't want. I just fucking made myself 3 eggs and toast, motherfucker.
Fine, I'll fucking eat the goddamn sandwich. It's gonna get gross.
Yeah, some's got to eat it. It's got to be one of you guys.
I'm gonna take the sausage out.
Your mama
first, so it's
spent
not
it.
as...
You're not a sausage
Well, give me this.
fan?
I'll eat your sausage.
Thanks, man.
Oh, I hope you were recording that.
Give me the fucking sausage. I'll eat this. I'll eat your sausage.
Okay, I'll eat your sausage. Oh, too bad the mic wasn't hot.
Mike is hot.
Oh, you got that?
We're
Hey, you
live,
got that?
motherfucker, yeah.
Good.
No one wants to hear Mr. B chowing down food.
What if I'm chowing down sausage?
Yeah.
That's in the food category.
What? No, this is a
Not
dick.
always.
No, this is a dick. So the votes are in, and I saw, and everyone said that my patience with Game of Thrones is better having to wait in between seasons and episodes than yours is to wait for the whole thing.
I didn't give you the access to the email. You haven't seen any of the responses.
That's all that shit, man.
No. Gotta give him credit. Gotta give him props.
Yeah,
Here's your King of the Universe crown.
appreciate it.
Yeah, apparently no one.
Bow
no one
down and
cared.
eat my sausage. What was that?
I didn't
No
see
one
that coming.
cared. No
I
one
didn't see
cared.
I didn't think anyone could. Well, no, he doesn't give us access. Therefore, he can spin the narrative however he pleases.
Well, if I could do that, wouldn't I have just been like, oh yeah, everyone said that I was more patient.
I beat you to the punch, so
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
now it's null and void.
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, good.
I'm fine.
Blair's sausage is pretty good.
Thanks, man.
Your mom buy you this sausage?
Yeah.
Don, I guess we should discuss why we're recording since you decided to hit record while we were eating.
Well, it kept crashing every time I hit record, so I had to test it.
I didn't know because I was clicking the pen just for shits and giggles, and hopefully it wasn't on there and really annoying for people.
Really?
as
Really,
much
Mr.
as
B?
we,
You're gonna bring that up from fucking 2012? You're gonna bring that up?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Also,
Is that a reference to something that I'm forgetting?
to me clicking the lighter? on
Oh, I
first
forgot about that.
episode?
No, I was just legitimately talking about their ear holes.
Oh.
I forgot about that, but yeah, fuck you.
that, that went right over my
I
head.
forgot about that.
So, the reason we're actually suffering through Mr. B chewing on sausage to come to you today is as much as we like the running gag of talking about watching it but not actually watching it, we're actually going to watch it.
Finally, Mark gets to see it, and we didn't know that.
And
We
I
didn't know that
haven't seen it
Don.
either.
We didn't know Don hadn't seen it.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned that.
Seen
but
what?
I knew.
That.
Oh.
That. So we're gonna
And
watch.
we're ready. I got a dry Canadian,
Oh.
and I'm ready to view.
This guy's ready to party.
So we're gonna watch that,
His name is Jacques.
and we'll be right back with. It's gonna be magic because we're gonna take a 2-hour break to watch a movie, but to the listeners, it's gonna be instant.
And
It's actually
we're
going to be.
back.
Yeah, well,
it's actually
no, not
going to
quite.
be 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Jesus fucking
Sorry.
Christ! Are you serious?
I told you that on the way here. I wasn't joking.
Well, unless
This
my
movie better be-
math is bad, 135 minutes.
The 15 minutes was the deal breaker?
This
You were
movie-
fine with 2 hours?
This movie better be fucking brilliant.
Oh,
for
no!
wasting
This is
2 hours
the
and
ultimate
15
cut
minutes.
with the full
Isn't our-
18 minute child orgy.
Isn't
added
the-
from the book added?
Wait.
Just kidding. They took that out. They took that out. That's not in the movie.
Isn't the first It like over 3 hours?
Well, yeah, but
No, it's like
a-
6 hours.
It's
Yeah.
a mini series.
And that's
Yeah.
2, and the second one will probably be 2.5 hours
Right.
this fall.
Hiya, Georgie.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we watch this now and later today they drop the It Chapter 2 trailer?
yeah, dude.
That'd be rad.
Great.
Anyways,
Rest in peace, John Ritter. Anyways,
Let's
we'll
make
be
it
right
happen.
back. All right.
Okay, bye.
Dry Canadian.
Okay, bye. Oh, it's the dumbest fucking intro I've ever
You have to like squeeze
No,
the
you gotta
air
remember,
out of
bro.
your lungs.
That's not the intro. That's 3 minutes in.
Yeah, well, that's the intro to us coming back. We're back. We just watched It.
It's terrible.
What'd you watch?
It.
What?
It. We watched
Oh.
It.
Why do you keep saying it? I don't know what you're talking about.
Blair and I watched it for the. That was my third time.
That was my second
Oh,
time.
I'm
I only
used
saw
to
it once in
watch
theaters.
things
But
multiple times.
but I
Been
can
out
tell
for
you,
2
I
years,
can tell you,
motherfucker.
doesn't hold up.
You don't think so?
I'm just kidding. It holds up.
I thought
It's a good fucking
catch,
movie.
you catch more that you miss when you're like laughing, you know, at other jokes than the ones come up later.
Yeah.
How's the bump in the table factor so far?
so far so good.
Or you
Is
forget
it okay
about,
if I,
or you
like,
forget about
leave
the
them on the table?
hamburgers pumping in this guy's belly. Fuck, man.
The fuck, man.
Yeah, I got some thoughts.
Well,
Yeah, let's hear
let's hear
the
them.
virgin thoughts of the movie viewing version. You too.
The okay, yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought, from what I never read the book. From what I remember about the old miniseries, I thought it did a good job of making it its own thing. Like it didn't follow the miniseries to a T.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I thought the miniseries overused balloons, like trying to make balloons way scarier than.
Well, whoa, back then balloons were.
Balloons were
Back then-
terrifying.
Yeah, you don't know when they're gonna pop.
No, they just. I thought making. They did a really good job of Pennywise, like, being what's scary to each individual kid.
Right,
Yeah.
because he's a demon. He's not a clown. He just
Evil
takes that
incarnate.
form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
I thought that was good.
I thought the way they did it was good.
Yeah.
And
And Finn
the kids were great. I mean,
they're all
that
great.
was what stood out to me. Like when you get a movie where your main cast is kids, like there's a good chance it's going to be shit acting.
Well, that's what make or
And-
breaks movies with
yeah,
kid stars.
and the kid acting was really good. Like the cast did a really good job.
You get like Avatar: Last Airbender, and the kids all suck. It's bad. Or
So
if you know,
like when the kids are doing a scene where they're part of Pennywise's like fucking with the kids to scare them, but like for a kid actor to do a scene like that was probably really fun. The director probably had to get them in the right mindset. Like, okay, you're gonna spit out black ichor stuff,
Yeah. And then you're gonna
But have
ride
fun-
on the floor for a while.
but have fun with it. Like,
and hopefully, like, what do you like? We'll flavor it to
Yeah.
what you like.
yeah.
I also liked that the movie was at times lighthearted. Like there was a lot of legit humor. In
Finn
it, which
Wolfhard
I
steals
thought
the
was
show
good.
in the comedy.
Yeah,
yeah, it had its
yeah.
stand by me
there was
moments.
some parts that were actually like really funny. Like the rock fight that was
The rock fight.
that was funny. That was like out of nowhere. And like the running gag with the new kids on the block, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You tell Ben's definitely a Donnie guy.
Con-
Can you
constructive
blame 'em?
criticism, I would say, like I think the scares in the movie were good enough on their own that they didn't necessarily need the orchestral score build up to them, you know.
Yeah,
But that's a different kind of horror
I think
movie.
that's for the. I think that they probably had to do a little bit of that for the general audiences that
yeah,
need
that's
that
the,
to
that's
get
the
it.
thing. A lot of the movie kind of seemed like a more like new wave kind of indie horror movie.
Yeah,
Versus some of the scares being sort of like the traditional kind of horror movie where you have the stingers and the jump scares and all that stuff. Yeah. And it was a good mix of that, I think. But
Yeah.
it wasn't to a point where like it was more like it would have been my preference to not have that, but it didn't like ruin it for me or like take me out of the
Like, give me
scenes
an
or
example.
anything. Like in the very beginning when right before Pennywise takes Georgie into the thing, like the score builds up to it like really, really intensely, and it fits the scene really well. But part of me kind of just wanted it to be like a quiet scene, and then all of a sudden, boom! There's Pennywise fucking biting his arm off, and,
right.
Yeah.
So it telegraphs where the scares are. It's kind
did.
of like a laugh track in a sitcom,
Right.
Yeah.
telling you what you're supposed to
I think
laugh at.
I think in a way it worked out well because I can't remember later in the movie what scene it is, but I think they play on that where there's the score builds up I can't remember exactly what scene it is, and then nothing does happen right away, and then it's like 30 seconds later when the
Right.
scores died down. So I think
Which
they did a
is
good part of when that happened. Then
That's another
then
sort of
coming in.
classic horror movie trope.
Right.
The like building up to nothing.
But at least they did that, where then some people might just expect it when it was going to build up for it to happen.
Just
like
the
right.
next moment, yeah.
Right. Other things I really liked was like the gore factor was like when it called for it, it was there and it didn't shy away from it. But it wasn't really a gory movie. Like there
No.
wasn't a lot of carnage in it, which I think was kind of an interesting choice. Like almost, if it weren't for the swearing, it could have probably been a PG-13 with some of
Yeah.
the shit they're getting away with nowadays in PG-13 movies as far as violence and stuff goes.
Yeah. Alita. We were just talking about
Yeah,
that.
good God.
Well, the leader though, it's robots, right?
Well, there's a human that gets cut in half in a way,
Oh, yeah.
and you see
Oh.
you see it like right in front of you, and there's blood. Like there's no guts.
It's only one robot.
Like there's no
actually.
intestines flying out or anything, but there's blood. Like they don't shy away from any of that stuff.
Well, that's
And they don't do the PG-13 thing where like when someone gets stabbed, there's no blood on the sword or there's no
Yeah.
like they don't do that. Like there's it didn't seem like they cut anything out. It's just
who
like,
is it? Robert Rodriguez?
Yes.
That did it?
Rob,
Okay.
Rob Rod.
yeah.
So is it somewhere between like Machete and
Spy Kids. Yeah. A perfect middle ground.
You gotta find that sweet spot, man.
Machete.
Yeah,
Machete.
I would definitely recommend. It's
You'd recommend what?
I would recommend the movie titled It.
The
You'd
film
recommend it. You'd recommend it.
by the name of It.
Yeah, it was good. And I don't know, I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but Skarsgård as
Yeah.
Pennywise was
Oh, fucking top notch.
yeah, like he really brings like a weird, like autistic kind of
Right.
Yeah, I
You
like
that he's
the-
not
Yeah.
doesn't go just for the creepy.
He's very
just the
wobbly. He's
giggles.
also very awkward. Like
The gangly factor was really good.
He's a gangly
It kind
motherfucker.
of bugged me at first. I'm like, why is he so wobbly? And then Blair brought up, he's like, he's literally so happy that he's like dancing with glee while he
yeah,
does
he's
it.
the
I'm
dancing
like,
clown.
That is actually
And
that
I-
actually works.
And I think Skarsgård's probably just naturally wobbly because he's like 6'5" and weighs like 100 pounds. So
Well, there's
he's probably
the
always
like
gangly.
the very beginning too. He's like doing a really good job of charming Georgie, and then he just like stops. Mm-hmm. Like he gets distracted and he just stops,
And he just
then
stares.
Georgie's like, "Okay, well I'm gonna go," and he's like, "Oh wait, okay, hold on, no, hold on, you got your boat."
without your boat.
Yeah.
like he gets really like insecure.
Yeah,
Almost he was having too much fun that he forgot about what his ultimate goal
Yeah,
was.
you-
Oh wait,
my
oh
God.
wait, he's gonna leave. I
I need to eat this fucking
motherfucker.
kid.
Yeah. God damn it!
And they got him on the ropes.
Yeah.
Fear.
So he feeds on fear, but he also feeds on flesh. What do you think?
I think he can't physically harm them
Unless
unless
they're
the
afraid.
unless the fear like gives him the power.
He has to like break them mentally.
That's
in
why
order
at
for
That's
him
why
to
he
be
builds
able
it up
to-
for the whole
at the
movie.
point in the house when she stabs him, like they were separated, and then when they all come in, that's why he had to slink away, like because he was like, "Oh fuck."
Strength in numbers.
Yeah, strength in numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which, yeah, is...
he has a weakness. That's good.
He's got a weakness. Well, the thing is, yeah, he has rules, which is nice to see in a horror movie nowadays. Because a lot of times you see a thing and you're like, well, why the fuck? You couldn't do that before, but now...
Yeah, now
what are
you
you, the
can.
fucking bye-bye man? You just don't have rules?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No, he's the
Yeah. The Babadook had rules.
What if they did a crossover called the Bye Bye Duck?
The Bye-Bye Dook.
Oh shit! Maybe we can get the rights to those and just do it ourselves.
Blair and I were talking. We want to do a comedy sketch that's a crossover between Unsolved Mysteries and Mystery Diners called Unsolved,
Unsolved
Mystery,
Mystery
Diners.
Diners.
I don't know what Mystery Diners is.
Oh my god, dude.
It's the greatest show on television.
It's the best. I don't think it's on television anymore, but it's the
greatest show that was on
the
television.
greatest show that ever existed on the Food Network.
Gotcha.
So
I figured
okay,
it was on Food Network.
Better than Triple D.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Than
so
Triple
I'm just gonna tell you what the show's about. Okay, it's about a guy named Charles Stiles from Mystery Diners, who his company is basically like secret shoppers, but mixed with private detectives. So restaurant owners will call him and they'll be like, "Oh,
my funds aren't adding up. Someone's
our
taking
sales
some off the
aren't
top.
down, but our profits are down, and we don't know what's going on.
Someone's taken out of
they,
the kitty.
They bring in Charles Stiles, who sets up 500 fucking
578 cameras.
throughout the restaurant, and then calls in his mystery diners, who are people that work with him, to pose as customers and new hires
workers, yeah.
and all that stuff to figure out what's going on. But here's the thing. Every episode is so painfully scripted and so painfully fake that you don't buy for a second that any of it is real.
Yeah.
And it's basically like an advertisement for the restaurant mixed with a shitty script where they, in 22 minutes of screen time, establish the problem, set up a trap for the person, get it resolved, and then fire
And somehow
them.
everything happens within a day. Like, everything's...
Right.
Yeah.
So in your version,
very
what we're going to do,
contrived.
because we're going to do this, you start off with the music, man in trench coat, setting it up. Then it goes to
Yeah.
the cameras getting set up, building it, and then in the end, it's not a person, it's like a chupacabra that did it.
Yeah, no, fucking
Bigfoot stealing the French fries.
DB
Yeah,
Cooper.
so like the idea is like something will happen, and it'll go wrong, and Charles will have to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was told that was gonna go totally different," and he'll like he always has an excuse for it. So we were thinking like a guy would go in to investigate, and he'd get mauled and killed by whatever creature it is. He'd be like, "I'm sorry, I apologize. I was told he wouldn't get mauled."
I was told that Bigfoot was
told-
well fed before we did that.
Yeah, like
So what we should do is we should wait until we get super popular before we do the Chupacabra episode, because then the person at the
you-
end that can come in that can fight the Chupacabra, as we all know has done it before, is Johnny Depp.
Have you
Johnny
seen
Depp.
Have you seen our fucking numbers lately, dude? We are like,
No, you're hiding. No, I'm talking about the show. I'm saying once Food Network or A&E picks it up and we're on
Right,
like
okay,
season 2 or
gotcha.
3. I haven't seen their numbers because you're hiding everything.
He
from
only
us,
paid
so-
attention to the numbers where he said he was right and you were wrong about.
Yeah,
Right.
Whatever
Game
the
of Thrones.
fuck it was.
Game of Thrones.
How to
why
watch
he was
Game of
right? Why he
Thrones.
was right not watching Game
Also,
of Thrones.
Mystery Diners went through 11 seasons on the Food Network in 3 years.
Well, that's
11.
about right. I think Triple D
The
is
show-
only on season 4,
The show
episode
became
600.
the show became such an obsession for me that it's not available to stream anywhere for free. Like it's not on like Food Network's website
That's how
anymore.
they get you.
The only way you can stream it is if you either pay for a season or per episode on iTunes or on like Amazon. It's not on Prime. So what I would do, I got so addicted to the show a couple years ago when I found out about it that every paycheck I would just buy a season of it on Amazon because
Like
it was like
15
between
bucks.
15 and like
Yeah.
$25. So just like to fund my habit, I would just every paycheck buy a season until I had the entire series.
There's 11 of them.
Yes. Dude, I know I'm not selling it. There's something so fucking magical about this show.
Yeah, it's
That's charming.
No, the best part,
it's adorable.
The acting too. Oh my god. Even like you would imagine like the restaurant owner would be like a real person,
Yeah.
and usually they are. So they're trying
Because
to act
it's
off
free
of a
advertising.
script.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to act off a script, and it's like,
And they're like, "Wow, Charles, I can see everything." In
yeah,
that
there's a
restaurant."
guy. They show him the control room, and the whole thing is like, oh, they have to like suck Charles's dick because of this is how cool the operation is. And the
that's
guy
sexy.
literally walks in and he's like, wow, I can see everything in my restaurant.
So, do they say like when each episode does it say where the restaurant is located?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we've
So
looked
are
into
there
it.
any in Minnesota that they did?
No, they've not done any in Minnesota. They've done some in
okay.
Chicago. But here's the thing: when I went to California for work, one of the episodes they do is a food truck that like sells lobster rolls, and it was parked out in front of the Activision corporate building.
Oh.
I was like, Blair, I'm going
Yeah.
to get.
He
I'm going to
texted me
get
in the middle of the
rolling
day.
lobster.
He was like, "It's here.
Yeah.
I'm staring right at it."
I sent him a picture.
He sent me
of
a
it.
picture of it.
And Blair's like,
This-
"Oh shit!"
Oh,
I
fuck.
ended up not getting it because it was like $22 for a lobster roll,
Right.
and there was
Because it
a
was made by Ghosts.
gotta make
It was
money.
made by Ghosts.
and there was a fucking pork, like an Asian pork truck right next to it, and I got these fucking fries with shredded pork and a bunch of shit.
yeah.
Oh, and it was just like,
Say no more.
Speaking of your trip to California, I thought about that when we were watching the movie because there's a lot of clowns and stuff, and how you guys found that clown-themed strip club. It
Jumbos.
sounded like an entertaining time to me. You guys didn't go in, but it sounded like entertaining.
No, we didn't. We
I would've
not.
gotten
Just to see
Jumbos.
people in clowns, and it'd be cool if someone did like really messed up clown makeup.
Well,
Not just have
all
these
I'm
gold
saying,
front end.
all I'm saying You ever seen The Singer of Stolen Babies?
It's a better name
You,
than
you talked
Bee.
about
That's
this
a hot
before.
clown.
Right.
Hey, hot clowns exist.
Oh, I know. And I can imagine there
she's
was
more like
some
a,
there.
like a harlequin, right? Like
That's a clown.
it's clown-ish,
But
but
if
it's
someone did
not.
like makeup where they put prosthetics on and look like they were all fucked up and
Yeah. Yeah.
leper clown. Just see leper clown hit the stage.
The other thing, some,
like Halloween Horror
some of the
Nights.
things they
Yeah.
chose for the kids' fears were pretty creepy. The fucking crooked lady,
The crooked lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she was gross, and then they like superimposed Pennywise's fucking toothy mouth into
Toothy
her
mouth.
when
Into
she
her,
opened her
yep.
mouth, which was,
Yeah.
I thought was cool. That was gross.
and the leper for the kid who's
For being
made
2
into a
hours
leprechaun,
and
right?
15 minutes, it was well paced.
Yeah, it goes by.
I felt like, honestly, the weird thing is that it dragged a little bit right before the end, like the conclusion and
The
like
third
end
act
part.
breakup.
Yeah, the third act breakup
When they're
was,
walking,
was a little
doing all the tunnel stuff.
yeah. But other than that, I thought it was really well paced. It was just a pretty good flick.
And
Yeah,
even-
it's just a well-made horror movie.
And even if the second one comes 2:15, they're still going to be an hour and a half shorter than the miniseries.
yeah.
Right.
The
Right.
part when the crooked lady came out of the painting for the first time, when I was seeing it in the theater, it was like a packed house, and when she dropped the flute and it hit the ground, someone behind us was went, "Fuck you!"
Well, they were that person was a prize flautist.
Yeah.
So they don't like.
yeah,
when
yeah, they were
dancers
actually
drop.
just mad that she dropped the flute.
Sometimes a packed house in a horror movie is the best audience.
Yeah.
You
We saw
remember
The
when we saw The
Strangers?
Strangers. Yeah, that was
a
like
blast.
That was a oppressive movie, and everyone was having a good time.
I saw that movie in the theaters twice, and like the part where she's on the phone and the guy
just like
When
walks
he's
out.
in the
and looks at her,
background, yeah.
people just either that or just full on scream, and the actual movie is totally quiet. It's
just silence, yeah.
Everyone.
That's why
saying,
I thought
That's
that
true.
movie was so
Yeah,
effective.
it's been some time now. Have you guys? It's on Prime. Have you watched Strange Prey at Night yet?
Not yet.
'Cause I forgot to tell you this last time. So I know you're a big fan of his work in the El Royale.
Yeah, I
Fucking
know.
Bill Pullman's son's in The Strangers.
Yeah, I know.
Prey at Night.
He's like the main dude, right? He's the
He's their son.
He's the
I think.
brother.
Yeah.
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 Well, we watched our one movie for life together just now, so we can never watch another movie together.
That's cool.
oh
True.
no.
It's a shame.
Fuck.
You guys can watch stuff on your own though. It's a lot of stuff.
Dude, there is a renaissance of shitty horror movies on Amazon Prime for
Really?
us to choose when we do our Riff Tracks
We,
episode.
you
Dude,
hear from
there is-
the listeners that hopefully a decent amount of people have Prime.
right.
So that because it's
Right.
not if it's like we did it, and it's like only 10% of them can actually
Watch
watch the movie
us.
with.
Right. No,
I mean, a lot of people do have Prime, but we should want to see.
Or we could go on the opposite end and we could watch the greatest horror movie ever made, 576 Evil 2.
we do need to watch 576 Evil 2 because that
It's-
movie is
Not only it transcends
I
horror
prefer
movies.
876-309.
It's
Yeah.
the greatest movie of all time.
You're-
It's the Mystery Diners of movies.
whoa. Well, I got no
It's-
basics. I haven't seen Mystery Diners either. So
it's so good.
it is.
I
very
can't believe
good.
you would say that in front of the owner and the keeper of Frankenhooker.
right.
Frankenhooker is self-aware to a point, though.
Yeah.
976 Evil 2, I don't believe is.
No, not at all.
No,
And
it's a horror movie.
it is made. It is so earnest in trying to do what it does, and it's just
It's so lovingly crafted.
It's try-harding, and it's just
you
feeling awful.
can't fake that level of like pure cheese.
The thing is, though, too, there was actually some like legitimately clever scares and stuff in it. But like,
Yeah,
rather than being creepy, you're like, oh, that was cool. That was cool. What they tried there. That was neat.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys gave your best
Oh,
shot.
guys,
huh?
that was cute. Yeah.
Super good. So yeah, well, I'll open up another kind of thread on the forum and just see if people can vote for where they, want to
The
view
easiest
the-
access.
Yeah, 'cause
there's a plethora of shit we can pick from.
Amazon
any
Prime
spamming.
now has stuff that is like suburban Sasquatch level of like shot on video.
shit
Suburban
fest.
Squad.
And yeah, you got to remember, you guys done us how to do it, but if to make it the best, I personally am going to have to watch the shitty movie twice because in order to truly comment on it, I want to have watched it beforehand, so I know when stuff's coming up.
I will watch shitty horror movies as many times as I need to.
But fresh, so I may have to watch this like twice, 2 days in a row. But I'm prepared.
Oh hell yeah!
especially if it's
Well,
really shitty and really awesome.
Here's the thing, though. Part of the fun, like if we were to do a Rift Tracks thing, it would be kind of good to have it be something none of us have seen, so we can have genuine
that's fair.
first
that
reactions.
could be too, but then it might be more. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say because then it could just be more of us just actually watching the movie and chuckling and making little comments when it comes up. But I guess we should try. If worst case we record and it's just us watching and chuckling every once in a while, we
give it a
just
try.
don't release it.
We could always
Lost
fall back
episode.
on something like Werewolf the Devil's Hound.
Right, if we don't release it, we save it in the future when we start a Patreon. We can release the lost tapes.
The Lost Tapes.
The Lost Tapes. Campfire Tales, the lost episode.
Campfire Stories starring Charlie Day, Rob McElhaney.
If you ever get
Yikes.
dragged back into hell, too, we could.
Oh shit!
So yeah, last week, apologize for not putting anything out, but last weekend was kind of a shit show as far as the weather and shit just going on. So we didn't get anything.
Last weekend was a shit show at
Life
the weather,
happens,
huh?
and life happens, bro. Life happens.
It's been a shit show for like the
Oh,
last
God.
couple
Entire
of
month
months.
and a half has
Well, it's
been.
the most snow we've gotten in at least 5 to 10 years.
It's been a long it's
Snowmageddon.
It's been a very
Snowmageddon is
long winter.
Yeah.
And then spring's gonna be flood again.
Yep, flood again.
Right along the floodplain. But my point being, I recorded a little segment.
Oh yeah, commentary.
I recorded a little segment without you guys one night. I recorded a segment of me getting a tarot card reading, which is something I had never done before and something I always thought was kind of interesting. I won't go into too much of a introduction because we do a little bit of an introduction in this segment. But I think what we're going to do is I'm going to play the segment, and you guys can comment along with
Wait,
it.
how long is it?
How long is it?
How long is it?
Ooh, that's
6
a very
inches?
good question. It's 4.5, but it's thick.
And you're and your hand on the pause, right? So we can flag you for a pause when we want to comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me.
Now,
Well,
will
I
you-
didn't think it was going to take you this long to find out how long it is. I didn't actually care. I just wanted to say I didn't have time for it.
Yeah.
But the joke is ruined.
will the microphone pick it up playing from here, or are you going to have to chop it up?
I'm
later?
gonna chop it up.
you have to
It's
chop
about
up the
20,
you have to
about
chop up the
29
pauses.
minutes.
For one tarot card reading?
And an introduction, and
Oh, okay.
Shit,
there's
I better
a-
fucking limber up.
there's a section in the middle where I just start coughing that I was gonna edit out, but I haven't yet. So I was sick at the time.
Turns
and
out-
I was like
Turns
trying
out he's
to,
a ghost.
I was trying to hold in my cough, and it just catastrophically failed right towards the end. So I'm like trying to say something. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really fun and interesting that, and then fucking exploded into a coughing fit. For
Did
like
a
solid
bad
5
omen
minutes.
card come up right before you cough?
Oh,
'Cause
God.
that would be awesome.
No, and that, again, we'll get into it. But that's not really how tarot works. It's not like, oh, this is good or bad for your future. It's like,
Oh, no, your ass is doomed. You
There's
just don't
different
know
kind of
yet.
tarots, bro.
shit.
This is America. Land of tarots.
So what we're gonna do?
Ah!
We're gonna play this, and
We're gonna eat some food.
and we'll see what you guys think about it. One sec. All right, so
Nice.
gonna play this?
of it. Oh, sorry.
okay, we're gonna play this, and you guys have
Comment.
anything to say? Let me know. I'll
And
pause it.
tap the mic to pause, so they know, so the listeners know
So, yeah.
when we're pausing.
So, anyways, try to
Smack
go
off the
easy.
table.
This is my first time recording without y'all, so
That's not true.
without
Yeah,
anyone.
Mr. B's retro rewind recap. Well,
Yeah,
had your
if you
pro
could
that
not spit venom like that, that would be great. Okay.
that wasn't me, bro. That was
Here
That
we
was
go.
the demon that
the
inhabits
demon
him.
inside. I shit that thing out a couple weeks ago, so we're good.
Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Dana. Dana,
Hi.
say hello. So first of all, we're both kind of sick, so we're gonna do our best to not be coughing the whole time. My voice is a little raw. But I asked you to come over here tonight so that you could do a tarot card reading for me. So, I mean, I think most people who are listening to this probably have some sort of a basic understanding of what tarot is, but let's not assume that. Let's, can you just give a brief definition of what tarot is?
So tarot is a divination form that's used by a card deck that consists of 78 cards. The cards are split up into several different suits. You have first the Major Arcana, which is the 22 card, like trump cards.
Ooh,
And
that's
they-
Could we not use that term, please?
My brain was like, don't say that word.
Is that what they're actually called, though? Trump cards?
It's just a term. But that's a bad word. Anyway.
I feel like it taints some stuff.
It really does. But yeah, so you have the Major Arcana, which are like, if they show up in a reading, they generally are have a stronger presence, or something you should pay attention to a little bit more. And then after that, there's the Minor Arcana, which is divided into 4 different suits, and it's got the cups, the wands, the pentacles, and the swords, and those are more kind of like assistance cards as well when
Okay,
you go
okay.
through a reading.
So when you read the cards, is there like, do the Major Arcana cards come from a separate pool, or do you have an equal chance of drawing them from the same deck?
You have an equal chance. You want to have everything kind of mixed up in there, so you have a chance of kind of getting anything, whatever. So
All right, cool. So I guess there's a lot of misconceptions I know around tarot. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it myself, but right off the bat, there's nothing evil about it. It's not like, I guess technically it kind of is witchcraft, right? But it's not like bad.
well, you don't
or
have
negative.
to be a witch to read tarot,
Right.
And
Mr. B's got a question.
False. You do have to be a witch.
Everybody know that. Goddamn, boy.
Would you care to elaborate?
Holmes way.
False.
No, I don't.
No, it's okay.
I'm good.
Just Mr. B would like it to be known that you do have to be a witch.
So I wouldn't want to lie to our listeners.
Right. Okay. Moving swiftly along.
as we all know, witches aren't evil.
Right.
But it's the most common misconception is, yes, that it is evil. But I mean, the church has spread a lot of bullshit. So
Basically, anything pagan has been driven through the mud by the church at some point. So that doesn't really surprise me.
yeah.
Now, when you say it's divination, like, do you mean when we ask the tarot deck a question and we divine the answers from what the cards are giving? It's not exactly like reading the future, right? It's more like,
Brought up something there. I got proof.
What?
Witches.
Oh, okay.
Divination. Sybil Trelawney.
what?
This is Harry Potter.
Trelawney.
Harry Potter.
You messed up.
fucking
You messed up.
divination
You messed up
teacher.
divination.
You're bringing Harry Potter into
She's the
this?
divination teacher.
She's a
of all
divination
witches.
teacher. You guys
She's a
said
witch.
divination multiple times.
She's a witch.
She's a witch. Mr. B, proven right.
Okay, Mr. B has been proven right.
Also, Severus Snape.
Whoa.
Did you think about that?
He is
Severus
the man.
Even when
What about
when
he's the
what
man.
about when he killed Bumblebee?
that was a
Bumblebee had to die.
yeah. Bumblebee had to die.
They
for
addressed
the
that
greater
in the new
good.
prequel. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's addressed.
Yeah.
Snape
Okay.
kills
Bumblebee.
All right.
You can cut that part out. I was just being an asshole.
No,
Mr. B has been proven right. You do have to be a witch to read tarot.
Sybil
apparently.
Trelawney.
So, moving swiftly along. You're using what you know about the person asking the question and what you know about the cards to sort of craft something that makes sense, right? Like that.
Right.
That's kind of the art of tarot. Is okay.
So, I mean, of course, you can have readings that involve the future, but they don't always. One
Okay.
of my most common readings that I do probably every couple of weeks for myself is I'll draw 4 cards in their mind. They each represent mind, body, spirit, and emotion, just to kind of check in with myself and figure out where I'm at, what's going on in my head. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. And that's the biggest thing that people don't understand about tarot is it actually is more of a self-discovery tool. So you can, if you have a problem that you're mulling over in your head and you can't figure out what you want to do about it, a lot of the times, for me, it really helps to lay down cards and kind of get a different perspective.
Mr. B's got a question.
She tarots herself every couple weeks?
Yes.
That's a little dirty.
That's not. It's less dirty than it sounds.
No,
It's
no,
just
move on.
So,
Hold on.
realistically, is tarotting yourself
Don't
like
mind
playing
me.
solitaire? Like, do you have to draw the cards yourself, or do you have to have?
No.
Yeah, no,
No.
you do it. You draw the. I actually have asked her about this.
Oh, I thought it was like jerking off stale fish.
No, you draw the cards yourself.
Do that all the time.
You have in mind what you want to know from the cards, and then you determine what it is.
Okay.
That the
Is there like a special way to shuffle them, or is it just you just shuffle it however
Well,
you see fit?
we'll get into that.
Okay, good.
Just shuffle and take some hold'em style.
Sure.
It's almost like having a therapist in your pocket.
So it's more about what you put into it than what the cards are actually telling you, that sort of thing.
Right.
I think if people kind of understood that part of it, it wouldn't have necessarily a stigma of it being like evil or sorcery or anything like that. It's like, it's just you're taking the cards and you're making a reading based on, So the 78 cards, does that have does the number 78 mean anything?
As far as I know, no. But tarot has changed a lot over the years since it was initially came about, which
Okay.
I think the earliest that we have evidence of tarot, I think, was in the 1400s. And then
Okay.
it started to rise in popularity in about the late 1800s into the 1920s when spiritualism became a thing. And I think that's how we have the tarot that we have now. So because of that rise of spiritualism and whatnot.
We sort of take the rules that were popular then and just extrapolate on them. All right, so you asked me that I need to think about what I want to know. So, I mean, how specific do I have to be? Can I keep it really general?
It's really actually wise to keep it very general.
Sure,
So,
because I guess if you're trying to build answers around it, you want it to be something a little more general, so that you don't have to like try to jam a specific thing into a specific card. So I guess it would make sense to kind of keep it general. I guess what I want to know from the cards is just very generally, am I on the right path? That's what I want to know.
okay. So there's several ways that I can go about that. And one of the things is I can give you just a basic. The most common one is like the basic 3-card spread, which is the past, present, future. And I mostly just kind of have a general rule of thumb where if I'm reading and there's any time stipulation, if I'm doing a general past, present, future read, it's usually like within the last 6 months, just so you have a good idea of where you're at and what's going on. But you wanted to know if you're on the right path. So I'm trying to think would be a good generalized, quick, easy spread for that. There's another really good one that's a 3-card spread that I do a lot too. That's basically like, where you are now and what you have, and then what you need to release, or what you need to gain and what you need to release. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, fucking pause it.
Pausing.
This is just laden with sexual innuendo.
Yeah, I'm holding back here, bro. And yes, 3-card spread, yeah. Strike.
Okay.
She's gonna let you know what you need to release, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, good lord.
I know what you need to release is your balls.
It's with the cards, guys.
And usually when I'm around Mr. B, I'm not the first one to think of that shit, but I just can't help myself.
And I was holding it in because you gave me looks like I'm pausing way too goddamn much.
It does. Yeah, there are some sexual undertones.
I mean, I'm into it.
Yeah,
but you gotta
I
comment.
know you are.
Gotta
I
comment
can
on-
see your boner right now. I know
am.
you're into it.
fully erect.
But yeah, no,
Don't mind this, Blair.
some of the terms are a little.
What is that?
What the fuck?
I went down by your pen cap.
What did you just throw at his
Mr. B,
boner?
Pen and it went down immediately. It's crazy.
for our listeners at home, Mr. B stuck his phone in his hoodie pocket to make it look like he had an erection coming out of his belly button. Like Tommy Wiseau.
It got Blair when I got Blair first look. His eyes went fucking huge. Like he was an anime character.
Oh, I wasn't expecting.
Two-man
I wasn't expecting. You say that all the time. I wasn't expecting anything to be there.
And then you got their attention by your
God.
reaction.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, is that your fucking dick?
Three
So?
card spread is not dirty. It means you spread out 3 cards.
It depends what city you're in.
No, I get that, but that along with tell you what you got to release.
Are you in Las Vegas?
No, we're not in Las Vegas. We're in my bedroom.
Busty Betty and
Okay,
anal upcharge?
that's
What the fuck?
that's where we were recording keep your minds.
Wait, where
out of
was
the
this?
gutter.
I'm, I'm being
bedroom.
serious right now. I'm trying to, but it like
Just wait.
The,
okay?
the
Just
listeners
wait.
want
We're
the
gonna-
commentary, so we're gonna comment.
We're gonna keep going here. Just try and keep your mind out of the gutter, okay?
You
That
could- you
that
could
one
do
might
that.
be good.
Yeah,
That's
that
that's.
probably
I think
would.
that's probably a little more self-reflective. There's a lot of crap I could probably lose. So
I know. Can't we all, huh? So, everyone who reads tarot has kind of their own ways of doing it. And I think most practitioners will tell you that it kind of changes over the years as they try and figure out the best ways that work for them. Usually, if I'm reading for someone else and you've seen me do it before, I generally want them to put a little bit of their energy into the cards. So, I'm just going to ask you to hold them for a bit and then I will shuffle.
yes, ma'am. I am a masterclass Yu-Gi-Oh player, so my urge to just shuffle the crap out of these is.
I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Only Pokemon.
Pokemon was good too. I played a lot of Pokemon as well. But Yu-Gi-Oh was my jam growing up. See, now the cards know that Yu-Gi-Oh was my jam, and that's going to help it give me a more accurate reading. All right, there you go.
Except for I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! So they're probably like, what the fuck is that?
Well, if you're puzzled by anything, you can just assume it's Yu-Gi-Oh related, and then we can move on.
So how I changed up how I do this in the last like year or so, since I've kind of dedicated learning more and more about tarot, more in a more authentic way, is I used to pull from the top of the deck down, and now I've started to just kind of actually pull whenever I feel like I need to grab a card out. I've also gotten better at shuffling because I spend a lot of time doing it. I can't do the dealer shuffle though. I've never been able to do that.
I always feel like I'm going to ruin the cards when I do that.
That's
like
why,
I get
that's one of the reasons why I don't do it. I don't want to ruin my decks.
those are high quality cards. You can't risk ruining those.
Another thing about tarot is that if you are shuffling and something jumps out like it just did,
Yeah, that
you
card just fell
you need
right
that-
out.
Yep, you need that card.
Okay.
I don't.
I like that
always-
rule.
I don't always follow it though because, quite frankly, I'm a klutz.
Well, I mean, it was a single card.
Yeah.
You'd think if you were being klutzy, it would be more than one card, but
I did have an experience once though where I was shuffling and I was having a really bad day, and like one of the worst cards you can possibly get jumped out of the deck and landed in front of me on the floor, and I was like, nope, not gonna happen, not today, Satan. And I picked up the card, put it back in the deck, shuffled, and then it jumped back out again, and I was like, okay, fine. Fuck you.
I like that. Not today, Satan.
Yeah, the card is called the Tower. Basically, when you get it, each depiction of it is frightening too, because it's just this tower that's like falling, and there's lightning and fire, and it's
See,
just
I'm a Stephen King fan, so when you say the Tower, I immediately think the Dark Tower, and that is like super cool. Like, I don't want to see the Tower now because that sounds scary, but that sounds also very badass. You can see my Dark Tower collection on my bookshelf there.
Yep.
If you have not read them, I highly recommend it. They are fantastic novels.
I haven't.
That's another one that just jumped right out at you.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if I should grab that. Hold on a second. Sometimes I'm so used to disregarding them. One a second. Where did it go? Ah, there you are. Throw that in there. Okay.
There's something very satisfying about the sound of those cards shuffling.
I know. I sit behind Abe sometimes when he's on the computer and I shuffle, and he's just like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Eh."
You should do like a 20-minute ASMR video on your YouTube channel that's just shuffling cards. Like, seriously,
For 20 minutes.
that would do gangbusters. People love those ASMR things.
I don't.
So all three of those cards literally came out of the deck. They, like, as you were shuffling, just jumped out onto the
Yep.
floor. So
Yeah, and then
I'm interested to see what these are.
okay, so I'm gonna kind of discern like what's what here.
Okay.
So, this is what you need to let go. This is where you are now. And this is what you're gonna gain.
Okay, so
Okay.
the one on your left is what I need to let go.
Yeah.
The one in the center is where I am now, and the one on the right is what I need.
You,
Where I
which
need
you
to
need
go.
to gain. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, what do I need to lose?
Oh, okay. So you have the Eight of Swords here, and the swords are interesting cards because a lot of the time they are that of a sword that kind of really hit you. And this one right here is basically saying like you have to make a choice. You're dangling here, and you're not going to hold on for much longer.
So you're dangling and you're not going to hang on forever? You okay, bro? We got a tongue?
If you like, this all gets resolved. I promise. You.
She said you're dangling on.
I appreciate the
Barely hanging
concern. But let her finish.
Ever heard of tantric sex, Mr. B?
Just dangling
The
on.
thing that Sting does,
It's a
right?
good thing.
The thing that Sting does, right?
Well,
Yeah.
she didn't say
Yeah.
dangling on with your longevity in the sexual enterprise.
With your
She
longevity,
just said you're hanging on.
like
Hanging
like
on
the cat,
with the family.
like the cat on the wire.
Yeah, hang in there, kid.
Hang in there. That cat is super dead by now. Anyways, so yeah, let's go on. The Eight of Swords is what I got.
So whatever it is that you need to move forward with, it's basically telling you that you really need to just let go and do it, which is kind of funny because this
So
was the way you need to let go.
To describe this card, the Eight of Swords, artwork is striking. There's a sword hanging horizontally like a pull-up bar, and there's what looks like a monarch butterfly
Yeah.
hanging from that sword, and below it is a pit of more swords, which is, and there's 8 swords on there. I like that. That's a nice detail.
Yeah. So either you fly or you let go and you fall on the swords.
Mr. B's got a question.
To feed into my earlier theory about witches, that sounds like a witch thing. Either fly or you die.
Oh, like in the witch trials,
Yep.
like throw you off a cliff and
Just you fly or you
fly or
die.
you die.
You fly or you
if
die.
you push them
It's
off the
not-
cliff
not-
and they die, you've sent a good Christian woman to her death.
And they're like, "Oh well, she'll see Jesus.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Break for lunch."
That remind me, we just talked about witches and said, if you fly, you die.
Backwards ass motherfuckers. Not witches.
Or did they have it
Puritans.
right?
The Puritans, yeah.
No.
No.
they definitely
Burn the
No, they
witches. All of them witches.
wrong.
Yeah, dig through the
Wrong.
ditches, then burn through the witches.
Yeah.
Drag in the
Fucking-
back of your Dragula.
My Dracula, yeah.
Oh my god.
Ask the band
Is
thrice
it
what they think about
1998
witches
again?
burning.
Fucking Dragula was everywhere.
I know.
Anyways,
He's even in that movie Dragula 2000.
It was also
Right.
in everyone's TV show sets when the Munsters.
exactly.
That's what it's about.
So yeah, that's actually a good point, Mr. B.
Yeah.
Fly or
Oh.
die is actually it's the first legitimate point you brought up today.
You.
Excellent.
I bring up points all the time. I just lace it with humor and profanity.
Right.
But I bring up some points.
So, okay, and that's kind of what that card represents. No matter where you would pull it from, right? So, like if
Yeah.
if this is something I need to let go of, I would sort of look at it in a different way than if you had drawn it over here on the right, where it was what I need to gain.
Yeah. So, if you were to look at this on the right for where you needed to gain, we could possibly say like you need to make a decision and push yourself in the right direction. I mean, it could still say the same here. It just all depends on how you look at it. It's a matter of perspective, and that's the cool thing about tarot is that it's all a matter of perspective.
So, I mean, in your opinion, I guess, do you think it's telling me that? Do you think it's pushing me one way or the other, given where the card came up in the sequence?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know what that might be referencing. Because like when I'm wondering, the path I'm on, there's not like a single thing or moment that is weighing on my mind. So I'm trying to think, what could it be telling me? What is this thing that I have maybe been going back and forth on?
Well, it could, and sometimes it's not even such a large picture as it's a more internal one as well. Like you can think about it from this perspective of maybe you just need to have a different thought process about whatever it is that you're hoping to change.
So could this be telling me that there's emotions that I need to let go of?
Yeah, exactly.
That I can get behind because there are plenty of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to get into it on air, but there's some particular emotions that I think have been bubbling up in me for far too long that I think it's like well beyond time for me to let some of that stuff go. So I'm gonna take that. That I think that is pretty comforting to me,
And if it makes sense to you, then there you go.
and it does.
Okay, so want to see where you're at now?
I do.
So this is a major arcana card. It's called the Hierophant.
Okay, that is fucking dope artwork.
I love this card. This
That
card
ve-
is
that is super
interesting.
cool. Is that a raven?
It's a raven.
It's a raven perched atop a very ornate key, and there's lightning striking in the background.
So to further delve into the imagery of this card and what it represents, the Hierophant has a great deal to do with knowledge. So you can see this raven, which is a representation of knowledge, and I'm going to get all mythology on you. Odin, the Norse god Odin, had two ravens called Hugin and Mungin, and they were thought and memory. So there's that imagery right there for you as
Great,
to why
Odin's
there's-
raven.
Right. That's why that imagery right there, I think, was the raven. But also, it's sitting upon a key of knowledge, the key of knowledge.
Sure.
And of course, the lightning strike also represents like thought or emotion or that sort of thing.
So that means I'm super badass, right? That's,
Absolutely. No. But yeah, so you seem to be mulling over what you do want to change, and you're trying to figure out what to do to push that into motion. And I think that's where this card comes in, is that it's showing you that you are in that very contemplative state, and that you are in that stillness. But the card before you is saying that there has to be some movement. And that's another interesting thing about tarot, is that it creates a narrative as soon as you start to unfold the other cards. If that
sure.
makes
They
any
sort
sense.
of build off of each
Yep,
other.
Yep, exactly. So, if that makes any sense to you, that's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, it does. So the fact that it's a major arcana card means that this is kind of like if I could take away one thing from it, it would be the major arcana. Is that sort of...
They're kind of the think of them as Navi from Zelda, from Ocarina of Time. They're just that hey, listen.
Okay. So they're
Can't
trying to
see
tell you
this.
something loudly.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time when major arcana show up in my readings, I'm always like, oh, hello. What you want? So, all right. And then what you have to gain.
Okay, yeah, this one should be interesting. Oh, that's interesting.
That
Does
is
that say-
actually very interesting.
Does that say the Fool?
The Fool. This is the first card in the entire deck.
Okay, so it's like the Joker.
Yeah,
If it's playing cards, it's like the Joker.
I think that's actually how the Joker came to be. But so and it's interesting because most
a
of
duckling?
the time, yep, most of the time the Fool is depicted as kind of a jester type in most of the imagery. But since the deck I'm using has more nature imagery, you're going to see a baby duckling
Okay.
sitting on a branch with blossoms. That's basically the depiction of this one. But
I can deal with ducklings.
basically the Fool is it's kind of interesting because you have this other card over here is telling you to make some sort of change, make some sort of movement going on, and this is actually what this card represents as well. It's that the leap kind of, or making that drive or that push. Even if it's scary, you're gonna have to push yourself off of some sort of ledge. Hopefully not literally. It's all figurative, but that's basically what it means, is that you're going to have to change something, and it's going to have to be something that you're going to have to push yourself to do.
What? What you're saying makes sense. I'm not sure where the Hierophant makes sense because of representing knowledge, but where does the Fool, how do you get there from the Fool?
Well, it's going to have to be a very sudden change. You're in this contemplative state here, but what you have to gain is you have to move out of this kind of comfort zone and into something that is unfamiliar.
Oh, where I'm a fool. So the Fool is okay, so that's why it's a duckling. It's like a fool as far as experience, not as far as you're a fucking moron. It's
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's new beginnings. A lot
so
of
it's literally new beginnings. Okay, I get it.
hence
So
why
the
it's a
Fool,
baby,
duckling.
Or
Okay.
I've seen the Fool depicted as an actual baby, or it's most of the time like a person standing on the ledge and they're kind of like look like they're jubilant and gonna jump. It's kind of that sort of.
I like the duckling. Can we stick with the duckling?
Stick with the duckling. It is pretty cute. But yeah, so that's your 3-card reading for you.
Okay. So now, see, so if we were to go into the like deeper into the tarot deck, is it one of those things where like every card can be interpreted to mean the same thing? You know, like the 8 of Swords and the Fool kind of perfectly lined up as far as both relating to change. Could you make that connection with pretty much any 2 tarot cards? Or are some of them like, if you draw this card, this means you need to stay where you are. This means you need to stay your course. This means that, you know, you're on the right path and you shouldn't change.
It all depends on what you draw, what the narrative becomes in the position, because obviously, you know, we're doing a very simple spread, but there are many, countless spreads you can do. And it all depends on where the card is in the reading and what you need to do.
Right.
So,
and what the person wants to know, I suppose.
Exactly. So it gives it a lot of groundwork and foundation to basically ask many different things.
So, based on what you've described and the cards you've drawn and what the narrative of the cards is telling me, like in my head, I know 100% what the cards are telling me to do. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, in reality, it's, you know, it's more you and me making up that, but just using it through the lens of the cards, of making that narrative and connecting the pieces, you kind of arrive at something that maybe you wouldn't if you hadn't done the cards.
Do you see why I said that most people don't understand that what tarot actually is it's basically like a self-discovery tool. You can sit here with a problem and get a completely different perspective on it.
So if you're going through tarot and it's a negative experience, it almost has to be because you're approaching it from that angle, right?
Yep.
It seems to be a lot of interpretation and sort of knowing not only the cards but knowing the person you're reading for as well, trying to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, I have not gotten to the point where I can read for people I don't know at all, but
I would imagine that would be a little awkward.
It's hard, as far as my understanding from people who do read that I know have told me it's pretty difficult. I usually just read for people that I know.
I think that's a perfectly sensible rule. Yeah, that's really cool, and it's really not a scary thing at all. It's
no.
I'm almost thinking of it less as a spiritual thing and more as like an artistic expression at this point, because it's like the storyteller inside of me sees the cards and it's like perfect opportunity to put those puzzle pieces together.
Exactly, and there are many people who read tarot that are completely secular too, so don't die.
I'm dying. Oh, the tarot could not protect me.
How is it that you're coughing more than I am?
God damn it. Oh, I'm going to have to edit this out. Pardon. Would you care for a throat drop?
I'm fine right now. Thank you.
Oh, spank my hairy ass. Oh, my throat. Oh, boy. Okay. Let those Ludens lubricate the throat. Delicious. Oh, okay. So, I mean, you obviously done quite a few tarot readings before. Mm-hmm. Anything about this spread particularly alarming to you or interesting?
I just see, well, because the biggest thing about the Eight of Swords is that it means entrapment. So, I mean, it's basically there's movement here with the Eight of Swords, then there's stillness with the Hierophant, and then there's kind of this jump, this kind of forced movement with the Fool. And that's what I think is interesting, is it kind of flows. It's kind of fascinating to me.
It's kind of funny, too, that the cards sort of jumped out of the deck in that kind of specific order.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I was asking you, like, could that narrative have been made from any 3 random cards? And it sounds like that's not really the case, so...
It probably would have been a similar message, but basically portrayed a different way, is the best way to describe it.
I feel like I didn't have to do much mental gymnastics to connect these 3 cards.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about it, is most of the time when I do tarot, it's rare that I'm stumped, and if I am, it usually comes to me like within a day. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what that meant. Huh.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it is like a skill that gets better the more you use it.
Yeah, and I mean, in the case of me, where I'm at right now, I'm actually studying the original tarot deck, and I am taking notes on it and stuff. Like, I'm literally getting academic with it, which many people do, and I feel like it just makes you a better reader. You can interpret the cards a lot better once you really understand them. So it's a whole system. It's interesting.
I think that's really cool. One thing I would like to see at some point, I would like to see you do a tarot reading for Mr. B. I think that would be pretty hilarious. It would be something we would need to...
Would I get a lot of smartassery and sarcasm?
Oh, it would be unbelievable, the level of smartassery you would get.
Oh, man.
What the fuck? You think I just can't rein it in when I want to? I bring it out to be entertaining.
I don't think you would want to rein it in, is what I'm
No, I think I'd want to do it 2 ways. I think I'd want to do it a smartassery way, but I think the first one, I'd want to play it by the book.
Yeah. Just to
And
get
you
a
know
base.
me. When you guys
a
piss me
base.
off and say I talk too much, I've gone 3 hours without talking.
Yeah, that's
True.
weird.
That was the
Please don't
worst.
ever do that
So
again.
I can lace
That
it up
was
if
the
I
most
want to.
uncomfortable
I mean,
3
I
hours.
get the little she knows about me is from the podcast.
And from the pictures of your dick that I've shown her.
Right.
Oh, yeah, but everyone needs to see those just to know.
You say my dick's sarcastic?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of sass to it.
You have a very...
It's got a sassy lean.
Hey, Mr.
That's really hard to hide.
Sassy looking dick.
Thank you. I get a lot of pride in my sass dick. Oh, okay.
All right,
Let's hear more about me.
Let's finish
Let's
this up.
keep talking about Mr. B.
Have to fight fire with fire on that one, huh?
Yeah. Hey, I can vouch for you. You can go toe to toe in that ring. As far as smartassery.
Yeah, you receive a lot of my smartassery, that's for sure.
Well, do you have any final thoughts on tarot before we kind of wrap this up?
I mean, I could go on forever, so that's probably not wise, but but I mean, I'm hoping that most of what I said made sense.
It definitely did to me. I thought this was really cool. I'd like to maybe think of some more stuff to ask it and maybe do some more readings. I think that would be pretty cool.
Ask your local witch.
But Dana has a YouTube channel that's actually quite a bit more popular than this podcast.
Not
do you wanna-
by much.
You'd be surprised. Give a little plug while you're here.
Oh God, I'm so bad at plugging. Especially since I'm the girl.
Even he laughed.
Pause. Okay, no, you don't.
No, go ahead.
Even he laughed at that one.
I did. That one was
In the moment.
That was
the
Plugging.
sexual undertones became overtones in that moment. That's
Jesus.
Plugging. I'm bad at plugging.
all right. Hold on.
Especially since I'm the girl. I mean, I really. See, there I go again. There I go again.
Ooh, is it getting warm in here?
Now I can't stop laughing like a fucking child. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about all things pagan. I'm a pagan witch, and I have been since I was about 15.
I was fucking right.
Yeah.
She just
said the W word. Oh my
she's
God.
confirmed everything I've been saying.
Openly admitted.
to witchcraft and wizardry.
And I just celebrated my 33rd birthday, so it's been a bit. But I just started it about almost a year ago now. So it's Lady Lucy, and Lucy is spelled Lusea on YouTube. So if anyone's interested in paganism and wants to hear me ramble and awkwardly go on and never edit my videos, and yeah, there you go.
Editing,
Check me out.
you know what? Editing is overrated. That is a damn fact.
It's mostly just me derping out in front of a camera.
I personally think that it's plenty of fun. You should definitely check it out. Well, if you don't have anything more, I think I'm going to wrap it up before my throat gives way and I die. Thank you very much for making the trek out here.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime. All right. So long, everybody.
Bye.
All right. So there we have it.
So can I ask a question?
You absolutely can.
Because we haven't had a sponsor on this podcast yet. So now that we have our first one, she gets the free plug. I mean, what do we charge?
Well,
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
She has
Hasn't happened yet.
she has
Plug.
twice as many subscribers as we have downloads.
Yeah,
per
but she
episode,
was.
so-
Yeah, but she was.
She's been
she
doing it
still,
for a year.
She still came to advertise on ours. So I mean, we can't set a precedent when Casper
She
starts coming
was-
because they sponsor every podcast, and when we get money from them, we're gonna right. I mean, that's gonna happen, right?
No.
Casper, Audible, Nature
Casper?
Box,
Who's Casper?
Mattress.
Oh, the mattress
That's fun.
people,
Every
right.
podcast, Audible.
Why don't you leave your Nature Box out of this?
Nature
we,
Box.
We are free of corporate shackles.
Nature Box.
But YouTube shackles are fine.
Why are you being
I'm just
such a
kidding.
pill about this?
So she called me. She said she wanted my sassy, and I brought up my sass,
She said smart assery.
Yeah,
and that too.
that's
Smart
two different
sassery.
things.
Smart sassery. That's what I'm bringing. Blair coined it.
You ask for the sassy dick, you're gonna get the sassy dick.
Sassy Dickin. What did you guys think about tarot?
I got a question for you, and you don't have to reveal what. But
Okay.
she mentioned usually after the cards are read, it takes a day or two before all of a sudden the realization, somewhat of a realization of, oh, I think that's what it's kind of hinting at. And she said she's been doing it for a while, so it probably comes quicker to her. Has it come to you what you think those cards were telling you? And again, you don't have to say what it is, but has it come to you yet, or are you still kind of
Did you have
in the
an
dark about it?
epiphany after?
It sounded like he had an idea while it was happening.
I pretty much knew what it was telling me.
Then why did she say it'll usually take a day or two?
No, she said sometimes when she reads for herself, a card will come up that she won't be able to make sense of, and it'll be a couple of days until
it
usually
clicks.
it will click. So what I think what she was trying to say was like even the cards that don't necessarily seem to mean anything eventually do. So maybe pay attention to the podcast next time.
I'm trying to. I can get those goddamn coughs out of my head.
Maybe come prepared to the podcast.
Fucking
Got 'em.
sexual innuendos dropping left and right.
Well, you know what? We live in a world.
We live in a society.
We live in a society. You just
Gamers
gotta get
rise
used to
up.
it.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm pretty skeptical of all that
Oh yeah.
stuff, but
I mean,
pretty skeptical across the board. So I'm not biased.
I'm
anyway.
skeptical of a lot of things, except for witches. I know the witches are out there. All of them
that's sort of
witches.
why I approached it from the level of like, almost like an art form where it's like you take what you know about yourself and you take what you want to know about yourself, and then you can divine a narrative based on what the cards give you. Like, I don't view it as any sort of like magic. I view it as more of like a mental exercise, an
Yeah.
art form.
That's kind of what I was getting out of it too.
I heard that.
You're
Mental exercises I do.
It's like a mystic
Math
therapy.
equations. Read books.
You're not a mathematician.
I didn't say that. I just said I do math equations.
You don't.
To strengthen my brain.
So you
14 times 3.
and my mind.
So, do you consider yourself a mathematician? I don't know
42.
about that. I just do
Damn.
math sometimes. Time to do
I don't know.
math
I just let an
equations.
icicle to fall.
Did anyone just? He tried to catch me off guard, and I got
That
him.
wasn't even on the multiplication table. 14's passed. Past the
Yeah.
multiplication tables.
Wow.
Not bad, not bad.
I keep my brain tuned up.
Do you do the thing where you do the 3 to 4, 3 to 2, and 3 to 4, and 3 to 1, and then you add them together at the bottom?
No, I do sevens.
Well, what's the
Oh.
Pythagorean
I go
theorem?
7. I go
Mr.
7.
B?
I did 7, 14,
Oh,
14, 28, 42.
that's smart.
I do sevens. That's what. What was that?
Pythagorean theorem. What is
Well,
that?
you got to say it right.
Zoom tight.
Yeah, bless you. I don't. I've heard it before. I don't remember what it is.
A
I didn't
squared
care
plus
enough.
B squared equals C squared.
That's what. Yeah. Oh, well.
And that's as basic as it gets. So you don't pull the wool over my eyes and tell me that
I'm not
you're-
doing those kind of equations.
Don't
I'm
piss
just
on
doing,
my shoes
I'm
and
just
tell me
doing
it's
some
P.
nice little math to keep it toned, not theorems.
to keep it toned. Little math equation.
I do math equations when I'm trying to pee in public.
I know. Like, come on, you fucking
Come on,
piece
you
of
fucking piece of shit, dick. Pee, goddamn you.
I just have Big
There
Sean
was
stuck
a-
in my head now.
There was
3,
a guy.
6, 9, 12, 15.
There's a guy at my work. I came into the bathroom. He was in the urinal in the corner, like hoodie up, just standing still. And so I go in and I give him the space. I use the one on the far
Blair
right,
Woods put him there.
and it took me probably 20 seconds to start peeing, like abnormally long time because I'm shy. I finally I stare at a spot in the wall long enough that I can just start peeing.
Yep.
And I pee, and I finish up, and I wash my hands, and as I'm fucking throwing my shit away, he's still standing there. Like, oh my god, this poor guy's got the most shy bladder I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You weren't the shyest in the room.
I just wanted to give him a big hug and be like, "It's okay, buddy. I feel
was-
that pain."
I think if you tried to hug him whilst he was trying to pee, it
We would
would
be like, I was just about to!
not hug. Damn it! Come on, you worthless
Blair's putting
dick.
tables over here. You guys eye her up.
Well, now it's official. My penis is just for show.
My show is just for peanuts.
Good looking dick.
All right.
Sassy looking dick.
Does anyone
you.
have any final thoughts?
I don't fuck with you.
What?
You little stupid ass. That's my final thought.
Oh, okay. Mr. B, do you have a final
I
thought?
don't give a
All of them.
fuck about you and anything that you do.
All of them witches.
You gonna play Big Sean as the outro now?
What is Big Sean?
That's
That's
the.
the I don't fuck with you.
Oh, that's what that is? Oh, okay. I just remember because Todd in the Shadows used that
Song
as his
is
like
fucking
transition
transition song,
music
yeah.
on one of his worst of the year videos.
You mean T-Shads?
T-Shads, yeah.
T-Shads.
T-Shads is the shit, dude. Anyways, so we're gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you for listening. As always, if you have any feedback, shoot it to info@belowthevoid.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Don will see it. He'll spin
Sign
it
up
to
on the
his own
website.
narrative.
What?
I said you'll see it. You'll spin it to your own narrative.
That's what I
Keep,
do with
keep the
everything.
facts from us.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ. Mr. B, I will give you the login info. You just...
I don't know if you want to do that. That might be a mistake.
Well, there you go. There you go.
This is
Problem
not-
solved.
You heard it here first, folks. Anyways, thanks for listening. We love you all. We'll talk to you again
Number
soon.
love for you.